guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Abigail and I run a small business on Etsy called Toxic Final Co. I also do a series here on YouTube as well as on my TikTok where I review my followers' small businesses. Today I am doing 10 Etsy tips and tricks for you. This has been requested from me both on YouTube as well as TikTok. I'm going to show you guys the common mistakes that I see Etsy sellers making, and these are things that have come up when I've been doing these shop reviews that I'm seeing a lot, and so I've compiled them into this list for you and I hope this is helpful. Let's do it. Okay, so number one, we're going to talk briefly about the crop of your photos on Etsy. This is something that I've been seeing in almost every single shop I've been reviewing. When you select the photo that's going to be your thumbnail, which if you don't know, you have a choice that you're able to do when you create your listings, you drag a photo into the first spot to be your thumbnail photo. If this photo is taken in portrait, usually on an iPhone, it is going to probably cut off some of your product because the crop that it's going to do naturally for it for the front page of your Etsy shop is more of a landscape. It's closer to a square, but it's more of a landscape than it is a portrait. So oftentimes the top and bottoms of people's products are getting cut off. And I think it's really important that we see all of your products in a photo. So either take your photos from farther away so that all of that product is still in the picture when Etsy crops it into that landscape look, or go ahead and crop your photos in your iPhone just the way you would if you were posting on Instagram or something. Pull the top down and bottom up from your portrait photos so that it's closer to what Etsy is going to crop it for you. Number two is natural light and neutral backgrounds. And this is sort of generic tip that I'm sure other people give. This is a tip that people hear all the time, but make sure you're taking your photos in natural light and on neutral backgrounds. For example, I do painted vinyl records. I take my pictures on my gray wall as well as on a large sheet of paper. Like I use a drawing pad to lay out these records on, and I always take it the same time of day. Usually between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. near a window so that there's always a clear neutral background and there's always good lighting, and it is the same in all my photos, so the temperature of the lighting isn't different. And if you guys want a video on more photography tips, I would be happy to do that for you, so put that in the comment section below. Number three is a shop owner name and photo. One of the things that we love about small businesses is that we feel like we're supporting a person. And we're supporting someone in their endeavor, in their craft, and so if you don't have a shop owner photo and or if your shop owner name isn't your name, that's something that I personally would recommend changing. Now, some people, I'm sure for privacy reasons, don't want their name on their shop, and if you choose to do that, that's totally up to you, obviously, but I do believe that it helps increase sales if you are to have your name and a photo of you or a photo of your family or something that makes us feel like we are interacting with a real person, and that's sort of the beauty of small business. So number four is having favorited items on your shop. So what I mean by this is if you go to your shop manager and you go to listings, your listings have little star options on them. I think you can have up to 4 favorited, but basically there's going to be the listings that show up first. So if you have items that you know sell more that a lot of people have in their cart, or if you do custom items and you want people to see that option first, go ahead and click that star in your listings in your shop manager, and it will put those first on your listing. So even if people aren't scrolling through, if you're someone who has 3 or 4 pages of listings, they're going to see what you want them to see right there at the front of your shop. So number 5 is a bit of a complicated one, and that is pricing. I'm also getting a lot of questions on TikTok recently about how people should be pricing their items. So I can make a separate video on that if you guys want, but for this tip, what I'm going to say is if you have an item that isn't selling really well and you can afford to bump the price down a little bit, that might be something to consider. And vice versa, if you have an item that is selling consistently that tons of people want, you might consider bumping that price up a couple dollars, just because if you know people are willing to pay for it, and small business already don't get a lot of money for their work and time as much as they should, so that's just something to consider. If you are a sticker shop or sell smaller items, this applies a little less to you. You know, if you have a sticker listed for $4 and it sells really well, you probably don't want to sell that sticker for $6. But it's totally up to you. I do paintings, of course, so for me it is worth always evaluating if I should be upping my prices or lowering my prices or how much my pieces are worth to someone. That being said, don't price yourself too low because you want to be making money, and if you're already barely making money for your product, don't lower your prices. So number 6 is having a description. And what I mean by this is what's going to show up right next to your picture and right below the title of your shop. Not the announcements, but above that is the description. So some people choose to have nothing in their description. Some people say illustrator, or mine says I sell repurposed painted vinyl records. You want this description to sound positive. You want it to be exciting. I did see a description recently where someone had said some sort of please allow delays or whatever for COVID shipping, this is probably not an announcement you want in your description. You want that lower than that on your announcement page, because this description is our first impression of you. So if it's a warning, shipping costs delayed, which all of us have right now, it's just less appealing. And so this is a really small thing, but choose something in that shop, tell us a little bit about yourself in one sentence, put an exclamation point at the end, make us feel excited to be there. Number 7 is having long titles on your listings. Another thing that I end up saying with just about every shop I review is make your titles longer. Those titles is how people Those titles are how people find you on Etsy. So if you are selling a bookmark and your title says bookmark, you're missing out on an opportunity for everyone else who is Googling other things and could potentially come across your items. So you want really, really long listings. Let's say, for example, I was looking at a shop recently that had slime, and they listed something as purple slime. Actually, I don't even know if it had purple in it. They listed something as slime. And my advice to that is put your themes or anything that this slime could be considered as: purple, mermaid, sparkly, sequins, 8-ounce, homemade glue-based slime. So expand those descriptions. That's going to help your shop. Number 8 is including materials in your listings. So the two places that I've seen this commonly right now is with jewelry and with journals. With jewelry, a lot of people seem to be leaving off the kinds of metal that they're using, and this is really important because this is something that we're putting in our body. So like if you're selling earrings, and tell us if you're using sterling silver, tell us what you're using, so those who are sensitive to certain kinds of metals can know, and it's going to help us be more likely to purchase your products if you list your materials really well. The other example is with a journal. I recently reviewed a shop that had beautiful journals but didn't tell us how many pages were in them or what kinds of pages were in them, and it wasn't included in the photos. And while I don't believe you necessarily have to include this in your photos, you should say somewhere how many pages are included if someone is trying to figure out how much they're getting for their money. Number 9 is a big one, and that is get on social media. Get on some form of social media. Get on your favorite form of social media. I personally use Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter I use the least, Instagram is kind of in the middle, and TikTok I use a lot. And honestly, I believe almost 100% of my sales have come from TikTok, and they've come from the direct link of my Etsy shop being on my TikTok. So make use of the social media that is trendy at the time, which right now is TikTok, and use that to your advantage as an owner. Post videos of your art, of you doing your art. Again, we like the name behind the face, so don't exclude your face from us in that way. And you can have that under your name or under a business name. I've had that question as well. Well, do I start a TikTok under my business name or do I start it under my name? It's completely up to you. If it's a business name, it's sometimes easier for people to remember and easier for them to find your business, but I don't know that it makes enough of a difference for you to not be able to use your real name if you want to. And number 10 is just have more listings. They say when you start an Etsy shop, the common number of listings that they say is good is about 20. That's about how much I started with. It depends on what kind of things you make, of course, and how quickly you can produce those things. But for me and my paintings, I have multiple paintings listed even though I only have one complete. So what I've done is I've allowed the listing to renew, and when a new painting is purchased, I just make it for them at the time. And I have in my description box a little precursor that just says all paintings may vary slightly, they're made to order. So what this allows me to do is to keep way more listings on my shop than what I actually have actively in stock. And I think that's totally fine if you know you can keep up with the orders of those. But the more paintings I design and the more I post to my shop, the more likely people are to purchase, because I'm trying to include as much areas of interest for people, or as many areas of interest as I can. So the more listings you can get, and that doesn't mean you have to have 10 pages. I've reviewed a couple shops that already have 4 pages of listings. I think that is great. But don't put a line for yourself at, oh, I have 20 or 30 listings, I can be done now. Think about how much more you could sell if you had more things. So not everyone has the luxury or the room for stock or the materials to offer that much stuff at that time. But it's something to consider if you're able to offer more listings and create more, even when you don't have orders coming in. Create things, ask around, see what people want to see, post on social media for ideas from your customers. That's how you're going to make wanted product. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope that was helpful. As always, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comment section what other videos you would like to see. We'll have a part 2 of the review series coming soon, and pretty soon after that we'll have our first small business haul video where I'll be opening and reviewing your products that I've purchased from your shops. I'll see you later.